Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. My name is Crown, and today I'm going to read you some very interesting stories that I hope that you're gonna love. And now, without further ado, let's go! I was enjoying my day off lounging in my backyard when I heard a screech of tires and a loud bang from the street. Dropping my book, I rushed out to see what had happened. As I approached, I saw a crowd gathering around an accident scene. A sleek silver sedan had crashed into a streetlight. The front of the car was crumbled like a piece of paper. My heart raced, hoping nobody was hurt. Then I heard the infamous Karen from our neighborhood. She was standing beside the car yelling at a bewildered teenager who had apparently been nearby when the crash occurred. "Why didn't you stop me from hitting that pole? This is your fault," Karen screeched, pointing an accusatory finger at the poor kid. The teenager, who looked no more than 16, was visibly shaken. I was just walking, ma'am. I didn't see your car until it was too late." I stepped closer, feeling the need to intervene. "Karen, it's not his fault. Are you okay? Is anyone hurt?" Ignoring me, Karen continued her tirade. "This is going to cost me a fortune. My husband will kill me. This is all your fault." I noticed something then. A movement in the backseat of Karen's car. A small child, no more than 5 years old, was crying and trying to unbuckle their seatbelt. My heart sank. "Karen, your child. We need to make sure they are okay." Ignoring the child, Karen turned her ass towards me. "Don't you start with me too. This wouldn't have happened if this street had better lighting." It was broad daylight. I knew arguing logic with Karen was pointless at this point, so I focused on the child. As I helped the little one out of the car, Karen continued to berate everyone within earshot. "I pay taxes. I deserve safe roads. This is unacceptable." A neighbor, Mr. Johnson, approached cautiously. "Karen, maybe you should just sit down. You're in shock." "I am not in shock. I'm angry. This city is to blame, and I'll make sure they pay for this," Karen exclaimed. The teenager who had been accused earlier stood a safe distance away, looking both scared and confused. "I'm sorry this happened, ma'am, but I really don't see how this is my fault." Karen's eyes narrowed. "You should have been more responsible. You kids are always causing trouble." Just then, the sound of sirens filled the air. The police and an ambulance arrived, and the officers began assessing the situation. The paramedic checked on Karen's child, who thankfully seemed more scared than hurt. One of the officers approached Karen. "Ma'am, we need to take your statement. Can you tell us what happened?" Karen's tone changed instantly. "Oh, officer, thank goodness you're here. This reckless teenager caused me to crash. He should be arrested." The teenager's eyes widened in disbelief. "That's not true. I was just walking home." I couldn't stay silent at this point. "Officer, that's not what happened. Karen lost control of her car. The boy had nothing to do with it." The officer looked between us, then at Karen. "Ma'am, we will need to conduct a breathalyzer test." Karen's face turned from red to white. "You can't be serious. I haven't been drinking." But the test proved otherwise. Karen's alcohol level was over the legal limit. The realization hit her like a ton of bricks. Her plaster faded, replaced by fear. The officer handcuffed Karen. "You're under arrest for DUI and endangering a child." Karen started sobbing. "Please, I can't go to jail. What about my child?" The officer was firm but not unkind. "We will call your family or Child Protective Services. We'll take care of your child for now." Karen was led away in cuffs. The teenager then came over to thank me. "I was so scared. Thank you so much for speaking up." I smiled weakly. "Just glad you're okay, buddy. And Karen's child too." So this happened like 9 or 10 years ago when I was 7 or 8 years old. I was a scout back then and a part of a group which was for the most part filled with friends and people I knew. I was popular because back then I was social and easygoing. I was friends with everyone and everyone was friends with me and everyone else. But as always, there is one exception to this. In all honesty, the entitled kid was a dumb brat. He would yell, he would fight, he would make others cry. He did what he wanted. Back then I thought he was special and that's why I tried to be friends with him, but nope. Later in life, when we went to the same high school, I learned that he was just dumb. Like I said, that kid would always be trying to get into fights with everyone. People were sick of it, and in time, so was I. I don't remember clearly what the brat did to deserve a shouting from me. He was probably harassing girls or hitting boys, but I flipped on him. Now at this time, he didn't take out his knife or begin to cry. Instead, he just stopped shouting and stopped whatever he was doing. For the rest of the day, he would just sit at the back of our cabin and just stare at me menacingly. So let's skip a week ahead in time. It was the next scout session. Don't know what else to call it. And things were going well. We were doing something time-consuming, so everyone's attention was at the thing they were doing. Whatever that was, the entitled kid, of course, wasn't doing anything, and instead he decided it was better to run around the cabin. The scout leader tried her best to stop the madness, but that only fueled the kid's rampage. While on his rampage, it didn't take long for him to find the door to the log cabin that was next to the main cabin, and when he did, well, things hit the fan hard. I was sitting next to the cabin and I could hear everything he did and said there clearly. He says, "Oh my." He started whispering from the log cabin. "Hey Joel." That's me. "Come here for a second." At first I thought, what is he doing now? But I soon became curious. He wouldn't stop whispering and I kinda wanted to know what the bugger had found. So like the stupid kid I was, I went there. "Yeah, what is it?" "I got something to show you." After a bit of searching, I found him at the back of the cabin. Now at this time, I thought he was going to apologize for being a jerk to everyone, and I was quite ecstatic. I knew this would be a story I would milk out, something to brag to my friends. I was so intimidating that he apologized to me. Well, I got a story out of it, but not the one I was hoping. "What you got there, buddy?" I asked him. His back was turned against me and I didn't see what he was hiding or doing. After I asked him what he was doing, he turned around. "You see this, Joel?" I couldn't see what he had in his hand, but I saw his twisted grin. "I can't see it. Could you bring it closer?" "Oh, sure." And now I saw it. A dull, red-handled knife. "Do you see it now, Joel?" Now at this point I said something along the lines of, "Oh no," or "What the?" and booked it out of there with a jerk laughing maniacally behind me. I ran out of the log cabin into the main cabin and tripped. This diverted the leader's attention, who now noticed that the entitled kid was gone and that I was on the cabin floor panicking. "What's wrong, Joel? Where is the entitled kid?" "It's him. That wanker got a knife." "Yep, I said wanker. That one I remember vividly." "What? He's trying to gut me." It took a moment for the leader to realize what was happening, but when she did, she ran into the log cabin fuming. My friends came closer and asked me what had happened, but before I could answer them, I heard the leader scream at the entitled kid. "What makes you think it's okay to threaten someone with a knife?" "I wasn't. I was just showing it." "Well, what makes you think you have any right to hold one without a supervisor? You could have not only hurt yourself, you could have hurt Joel." "I swear I—" "Get out of here. Go outside and wait for your mom to come pick you up." She then came back into the main cabin and told one of the other leaders to look after us. She then went outside with the entitled kid and waited for the mother to come pick the little devil up. Now, according to what I had heard, the leader told the others after this incident, and the mother was furious. A complete and utter entitled mother, who tried to tell the leader that I was probably the aggressor and that I was a son of a witch. At the time, I laughed at this with my friends, but had I known she would come for me the next week, I wouldn't have been laughing. In order for you guys to understand better where me and my friends were when this happened, here is the main cabin. Now, a week after the incident, me and my friends were on top of the bridge you can see in front of the building. We were messing around doing dumb stuff, playing tag, stuff like that when suddenly, the entitled mother showed up. And the conversation goes something like this. "Which one of you is Joel?" "Here, ma'am." You're the one who bullied my darling." "What?" I then noticed the entitled kid on the backseat, bawling his eyes out. "Oh, you're the entitled kid's mom." "Yeah, he tried to slice me with a knife." He would never. She then went on to list some positive things about him, which seemed pretty nonsense to me and my friends. He's a gentleman, yet he harassed little girls. He's great at school, yet he couldn't be bothered to pay attention for a single second. That and he was an F&D student in high school, so he's got more friends than any of you. Yet he had somehow become an outcast in our scout group. I honestly got bored at her rambling and went back to playing with my friends. Some of them kept shouting at her, others ignored her. One of my friends, a girl I had known since kindergarten, started straight up roasting the 30-year-old woman. I can't remember what she shouted, but I remember the entitled mother's reaction. "Shut up, you witch! This ain't none of your business." Now this didn't stop my friend, in fact, it fueled her rage even more. Knowing what kind of woman her mother was, this didn't surprise me one bit. As time went on, one of the leaders noticed the commotion and came to check what's going on. The entitled mother noticed this and got out of there fast. After the leader asked us what had happened and we told him, he went and told the main leader and she was furious. She went and straight up banned the entitled kid, a ban which was lifted just 3 years ago in 2016, when the entitled kid wanted back into the scout group. My career as a scout had already come to an end in 2011, so it didn't really bother me. My stepdaughter is in high school and has a best friend she's known since they were babies. My wife and I have 2 children together. My stepdaughter's best friend has a birthday in December. We were well aware of her birthday because we attended it every year. This year, my side of the family planned to take a huge overseas Christmas vacation, which required us to ask the friend's mother for the party date. We planned and bought our tickets to leave 2 days after the party so that my stepdaughter wouldn't miss it. One day, my stepdaughter came home and told us that the party date was moved to accommodate some of her friend's family members who decided at the last minute to fly in for it. The problem is that the date was moved to one well after our departure date. Here is a problem. First, we're not made of money, so for us to change the flight and hotel for our family will more than double the cost. Second, it will be a 2 weeks overseas trip, so I already had my vacation approved and can't change it. If we fly out after the party, my vacation will be cut down to only a week. Third, I only get to see some of my siblings only at Christmas, so if I don't go this year, I won't see them until next year. And fourth, my entire side of the family planned our vacation around the party date months ago. My original solution was to tell her friend's parents to keep their original date since my family planned around their schedule. My wife immediately shot down that idea. My second solution was for us to leave as planned but change only my stepdaughter's tickets since she's on break and is old enough to fly herself. My wife shot that down too since she's also friends with the other mother and wants to go to the party. My wife's solution is for us to just fly out after the party. I don't like this idea at all because of the added cost and listening time. Our talk turned into arguments that lasted all week. Last night my wife put her foot down and said that we're not missing the birthday party, to which I replied that she's not missing the birthday party. I told her that I'm flying out with our 2 kids as planned, whether or not she's on a flight. That took our argument to the next level, to the point my stepdaughter called me a jerk. So I tried to ground her, at which point my wife said I couldn't because she was justified. Everything is a mess now. Update. There are 2 common questions and I think I should answer. It's a sweet 16th birthday party. It's going to be huge with over 100 people in attendance and catered food. I've been told almost everyone in their class is attending. The other mother and my wife have been friends since the birth of their girls. She helped my wife through her divorce, and my stepdaughter stayed with them for days at a time during the worst part of that process. So again, am I the jerk in this situation? And now some comments on the post. Someone saying, "You're not the jerk. Did your wife and daughter fail to notice that although your family planned your trip around the dates of her friend's birthday party, her friend's parents couldn't be bothered to keep to their planned date? and they change the party date for their family's wishes. So in your daughter's and wife's eyes, not only does your daughter's friend take priority over your whole family, but your daughter's friend's extended family takes priority over your extended family. One of two things happened here in the minds of your daughter's friend's parents. Either they have no respect for you whatsoever and expect you to absorb thousands of dollars in fees to change your flights and expect you to miss half of your family vacation, or they actually don't really care if your daughter goes to this party or not. I think the moral rule that should hold here is that you don't break prior plans because you got a better offer. You made plans with your wife for specific dates, times, and places. You and your family all spent a lot of money on this group trip where you could all see each other. You would be letting them down if you only showed up for half of it. And that's in addition to the money it will cost you to change the dates. And how will your family feel if you tell them that you showed up a week late because of a teenager's party? Or if your wife and daughter do not appear because they rate a teen friend over their own family? You made a commitment to a particular party date. Your daughter's friend then changed her party date. A change of date is a whole new calendar item, and you have no obligation to attend it, especially if you have a conflict with a prior commitment. You have a prior commitment because you've already bought tickets for your family trip. Nor do your daughter's friend's family or your daughter or your wife have any right to expect that their new party date will take precedence over your nuclear family's existing commitment to visit your own extended family. The friend's family are the ones who created the conflict by changing the date. It's not your obligation to change your plans or be jerked around by them. Your daughter and your wife are being massive brats here and are being utterly disrespectful to your family. Another commenter adds, "Not the jerk. Your wife is being unreasonable. This is literally a birthday party. There will be another one next year. It's time for you to put your foot down. Either your wife and stepdaughter get on a plane with you and your two kids, or they both stay at home and you will get a refund for their flights." A third commenter goes with, "Not the jerk. I think your plan is actually the solution. Maybe your wife and your stepdaughter can fly in later or not go at all. If a birthday party is more important than a family vacation, maybe they don't need/want to go at all."
And now we have reached the end of today's stories. Thank you for watching and see you next time.